living without truly being alive. Harsh, I know, but what if the routine you call life is just survival disguised as normalcy? Same days, numbed emotions, autopilot decisions, and worse, thinking that's all there is. But what if I told you there's an invisible line between what you live today and what your soul really came here to live? A lot of people think spiritual awakening is some mystical trend, all crystals and incense, but it's not. Waking up is about no longer letting life push you around and finally grabbing the wheel. It's awakening from the inside out, recognizing the signs, realigning with meaning, and realizing that reality changes when you change. And this can begin now, even if the outside world remains the same. In this video, you'll discover that spiritual awakening isn't some esoteric luxury. It's a turning point that transforms your habits, relationships, energy, and purpose. And no, you don't need to quit your job or go on a retreat. You just need to see what's already there, waiting to be noticed. Because maybe, just maybe, your real life hasn't even started yet. Topic 1. Spiritual awakening isn't mystical, it's necessary. Spiritual awakening doesn't start with bells ringing or lights from the sky. It starts with discomfort, that odd feeling that life has become too normal, repetitive, soulless. It's when someone looks around and thinks, "Is this really it?" That emptiness is more common than people admit, and ironically, it's the first push inward. It's like existence begins to whisper, "There's something more," and you know it. No one wakes up from a place of comfort. Awakening usually comes after a breakdown, a loss, a crisis, or a realization that material success still feels empty. And that's okay. Chaos is a teacher too. Many people only wake up after sleepless nights, quiet tears, and the classic, "I don't even know who I am anymore." That's when the shift begins, slowly but deeply. Waking up is realizing that living on autopilot comes at a price, the price of not really living. The person starts noticing the little things, the synchronicities, the questions that once seemed silly but now scream inside. Who am I? Why am I here? Questions that were always there, just waiting for the external noise to fade. And once that happens, the world doesn't change, you change in the world. From that point on, life stops being just a series of tasks and starts to feel alive, like someone finally removed the plastic film from reality. And here's the kicker. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Awakening isn't a final destination. It's a door slightly ajar. And what's behind that door? Well, that's where the next step comes in. Awakening means seeing the invisible within the visible. After awakening, something curious happens. People start seeing what they used to overlook. A stray sentence, a random encounter, a sudden feeling, everything starts to carry meaning. It's not superstition, it's sensitivity. It's like the heart's lens gets polished, revealing a world full of signs, patterns, and messages that were always there. But now, with the soul's eyes open, it all starts to make sense. The outer world stays the same, but your perception doesn't. That chat in the elevator might seem like small talk to some, but for someone who's awake, it can be a warning, an answer, or a sign. Intuition becomes a silent GPS, pointing directions even when logic says that makes no sense. This new way of seeing reshapes everything: choices, routines, relationships. Nothing feels random anymore. Take how people handle problems, for example. Before, everything felt like a burden. Now, each challenge becomes a clue, a chance to understand something deeper. Life starts to look like a book full of hidden codes, and suddenly you learn how to read them. Even traffic becomes a patience lesson. That difficult boss becomes a mirror. Anxiety becomes a reminder to breathe. It's not magic, it's awareness. And the more this new perception sharpens, the more one feels called to dive deeper. Because seeing is just the beginning. Feeling it, living it, being it, that's the real leap. And once you start to notice the invisible, you begin to realize that the universe is noticing you too. And that silent dialogue opens another powerful door. Awakening calls for habit change and inner work. Once the awakening settles in, the old ways no longer fit. That routine, which once felt safe, now feels tight, like clothes that no longer suit you. Habits need to shift, not because of guilt, but because the new self can't keep repeating the old script. Staying up too late, feeding on bad news, holding on to resentment, it all starts to feel heavy. And the urge to change comes from within, almost instinctively. That's when the gaze turns inward, and yes, it can be uncomfortable at first. Suddenly, you're faced with old emotions, repeated patterns, limiting beliefs you once called normal. It's not easy to face your internal mess, but it's freeing. Like cleaning a forgotten room, it's tiring, but once it's done, fresh air flows again. In this process, simple practices like meditation, journaling, or mindful walks become powerful allies. Here's something I always suggest. Try waking up just 15 minutes earlier each day and sitting in silence. No phone, no distractions. It sounds small, but it shifts your entire frequency. Or trade one daily complaint for a positive statement. Instead of "what a horrible day," try "let's see what I can learn from this." Sounds silly? Try it and observe. Awakening is built through micro choices. As these habits solidify, something deeper takes place. You start to feel lighter, clearer, more aligned. It's like your real self is finally stepping up to the driver's seat. And then a new question arises. If I can change so much on the inside, can I also change the way I live on the outside? Living awake is living present, free, and aligned. Living awake isn't about being some enlightened being who never slips. It's about being more aware, period. You begin to observe yourself, your reactions, your thoughts, even how you listen to others. Presence becomes a superpower. And freedom? It doesn't come from the outside. It blooms from within the moment you realize you no longer need to please everyone or repeat old patterns on autopilot. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's choosing what truly aligns with your essence. A simple no where you used to say yes just to avoid conflict, that's a revolutionary act. With each decision aligned to your soul, the old prison falls apart. Spirituality shows up in the little things, treating your body with care, speaking with intention, working with purpose. At this point, it's common for the awakened soul to seek deeper connection with something greater. It doesn't have to be tied to religion. It might be nature, silence, or sacred moments in daily life. And that gives life a new meaning, like there's an invisible thread weaving everything together. Gratitude becomes a posture. Peace becomes a priority. Self-love stops being a cliche and becomes your foundation. And perhaps the most beautiful part is this. Once awakened, you naturally awaken others just by being. No need to preach, no need to convince. Your energy shifts the room. And when that inner light starts reaching others, personal awakening begins to ripple outward, turning into something much bigger. Now tell me, after all this, can you really keep living on autopilot? Can you keep ignoring that quiet inner voice, like pretending you didn't hear the alarm clock? Maybe the most honest question you can ask yourself right now is, what's keeping me from living awake? And more importantly, why keep postponing the life you know you were meant to live? You don't need to change everything at once, but you do need to start. It could be a daily moment of silence, a more aligned decision, or finally saying no to what disconnects you. And if something in you woke up while watching this, then you've already taken the first step. Now keep going with presence, courage, and a little faith. Let me know in the comments, when was the moment in your life that you realized something had to change? Or better, what part of you feels like it's waking up right now? And of course, if this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and share it with someone who also needs to wake up inside. Because together we vibrate stronger and we transform more lives.